But for those that have never met you, I think it's important to know that you're a cancer survivor, not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, but five times. Just tell me how important is being in the entertainment business and being surrounded by Tater and Crawdaddy. How much does that mean to you?
Oh, it's been an amazing journey. First of all, not the cancer part, but the C103 radio experience has been phenomenal. You know, I'm very fortunate in that I got hazed by Tater 2 summers ago. So him and I are great. Craw and I are good and always have been. You know, we've been friends since we were 18. You know, I've known you almost as long. You know, you know, Craw and I, we have a great rapport, and when we get on the mic together, I just don't feel like there's any stopping us. You know, we seem to be able to keep talking through anything, and hopefully it's entertaining at the end of the day. That's all you can hope for. You know,
it is. It is. Your pirate radio. Every segment you do, every time that mic is on, it's one of those shows where the great music is an afterthought. I'm more interested in the banter that happens between you and Crawdaddy.
Are you really? Wow, that's great. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's you know what? It's funny about that, Matt. You say that, and thank you, by the way. That's awesome. We hope that that's entertaining enough to keep people entertained. You know, if I look at who we're up against on a Saturday night, it's Hockey Night in Canada. So I'm literally battling the elements of winter, having Hockey Night in Canada versus pirate radio, you know? And mind you, yeah, we're on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, but you know what? That's when it's time to party, you know? So we look at that like we look at it like we're your jet before you go out, before you leave the house. You get yourself all dolled up. You know, you're getting yourself, you know, with your best shirt on, and you know, whatever you're doing that day to make yourself look good. Hopefully, we're giving this springboard for your Saturday night.
Christmas
Hopefully,
time.
anyway.
This is a season of giving. There are hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. There's probably thousands of people in the Moncton area less fortunate than others. Let's just quickly talk about the program that you were a part of, the campaign you were a part of here just a few weeks ago with all the on-air personalities of C103.
Yeah. It's called Stuff a Bus, and they've been running it for 9 years now in Moncton. And I had gone there, I think 3 or 4 years ago to drop off a toy. And that's when I just first started doing pirate radio. And this is my first time to actually work at Matt. So being there all day, even though it was cold as H out, it was a phenomenal experience because I got to really see the people who love you to death, and they can't wait to meet you and be part of something. And being part of a charity like that, knowing that what you're bringing, whether it was a gift certificate, I saw gift certificates, $150, you know, to garage, $150 to, you know, a Walmart. You know, I saw stuff like that all day. Cash, but unbelievable. The outpouring of emotion from the people of Moncton is, I don't know, man. It raises the hairs on my arms to think about, Matt. It's such a great feeling to be there. You know what I mean? Like you can't buy it, man. You can't buy it. You know, it's great to help out. And you know what, Bless? I got to tell you this. One of my dreams came true. The guy who manages the Sobeys in my old neighborhood, okay, where we have this every year, he told me, he says, I want you to go inside and I want you to talk to the Sobeys shoppers. And I said, what do you mean, like one-on-one? He's like, no, over the microphone. I want you to tell them what you're doing out in the back parking lot. I looked at him and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is one of my dreams come true. I've always wanted to talk on the microphone at a grocery store or the mall. So I was just, he's telling me how to poke it into the phone properly. And I'm like, oh my, I'm jazzed, right? Good morning, Sobeys shoppers.
Oh.
I got so excited, Matt. I was supposed to say something about the country station because they're intertwined with us with C103, and I couldn't even remember the call letters. I just said, yeah, we're in the back parking lot with C103 and the country station. I lost it. Couldn't feel bad for my 96.9 guys, New Country guys. But yeah, I lost it. I got too excited.
I want to give you some time to talk about, you had an amazing chat, sit down with Crawdaddy and yourself, had the opportunity to interview former wrestler. I don't know if Chris Jericho is still wrestling.
Yeah.
Does he still wrestle? Is. But he's still wrestling, and he is a member of the band Fozzy. So just tell us how that came about. Did all the radio personalities, did their names go into a hat, and you and Crawdaddy just be the names picked to do this, or how did that work out?
It's a good question. Probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks before we got word, there was a rumor going around that Chris was going to do press, and Craw and I were both amped. Here we are, big Jerichoholics, Chris Jericho fans, and you know, he's touring with Fozzy, you know, and they're on album 7 at this point. And anyway, we are completely excited, and I think, if I remember correctly, Tater, he knows me. He was just like, you're a wrestling guy. You should be doing this thing with him. And so it was all going to be at the station that day. 3 days Grace was going to come in, and Chris was going to come in and do press. And then like an hour or two before that, I got a call. Yeah, you're going to have to go to the casino and interview him. Which is funny because Craw had told me, like, in his 14 years of radio, he had never, ever had to go anywhere to interview anybody but the station. So I was like, let's do it anyway. This is going to be awesome, obviously. So we get in there, and Chris is late. But I'm so nervous that I could barely stand myself. So finally, he shows up with his wife, his 3 kids, and they've been traveling from Halifax that day. So he just pokes his head in, and he goes, hey, guys, sorry I'm late. I'll be right in. I'm just gonna get my family settled. Matt, I looked at Craw and I go, Chris Jericho was just here. You know, like, here's a guy.
You're starstruck.
From, a Winnipeg. You know, yeah, completely. You know, and you try not to be a fanboy. I think you're allowed like 2 minutes of fanboy at the beginning, and then just end it and get on with business. And that's how I looked at it. Like, okay, if you look back at the interview, there's a point where you see I'm finally a little bit more relaxed. And the funny thing is Craw just woke up from a nap. He had like a 3-hour power nap, so his eyes were no bigger than I can't even say. They were tiny. So, you know, he was kind of waking up, you know, and I was just like, I asked him at one point, I go, so what do you got for questions? He goes, it's all right here, pal. And I'm like,
that's
so
scary.
you are going to do that without anything written down. I have brought a piece of paper with 8 questions on them. I left it in my pocket. I'm like, if he's not using paper, neither am I. I know this guy. I know his music. I know about this tour. I know how much, what's going on with them. You know, I know the history of Chris Jericho as far as being a wrestler. I didn't have to do I had to do very, very little information grabbing for this. I already knew who I was talking to. So, and I think that's why it plays out so well. I think that's why it's got as many hits as it does, over 4,000 or whatever. So,
Stan Lee, what did Stan Lee mean to you? Why was he your hero?
Well, my grandmother, Mana, who is still with us, by the way, 94, she used to work at a store called Stedman's in Dopetown when I was really, really young. And every Friday when we would go to visit, she would have a little treat for us. And my favorite treat to get, or surprise, as she put it, was a Spider-Man comic book, a Marvel, Stan, you know, and you think I'd tear up over other things. But yeah, that was one of those things where I was just going through my messages, and I saw that he had passed like within like that hour, and just like a wash came over me of just like, I knew he had been sick for the last year, so I wasn't shocked, but he just brought me so much excitement and promise when I was a kid about a different kind of universe that you could be in, you know, a different world. And even though he was grounded on Earth, his thoughts and the idea of being something that and bettering yourself, being something that you're not, bettering yourself to help others, probably, and that red and blue outfit, you know, I mean, for me, that was it. That was just it for me, you know.
I think if Stan Lee had the opportunity to meet you, he certainly would have called you a superhero. You would have been one of these superheroes, brother.
I'm going to take that and say thank you very much.
Listen, we haven't spoken in a long time.
Yeah,
If this show was just for my benefit, then I can live with that. You know, I'm just so thankful for the technology where, you know, we got Facebook Live. You press a couple buttons and you can communicate with someone on the other side of the country. So from the bottom of my heart, dude, I love you, and I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to just hang out with me. Just you know, just hang out and have a conversation. And those that were watching live, I hope they took something away from it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And like I've said many times, it's not about the number of people that are watching the show. It's the content of the show. It's the content.
Sure it is.
People can watch this whenever they want, and they can watch it over and over and over again, man.
Please do. Keep that share ratio going up. They're always talking about that at work. Yeah, that share ratio is good. I know that. That I do know. I thoroughly enjoyed being on the show. Next time, don't wait so long to invite me back, and or actually be on the show, period. Because I think last time we spoke, you were doing an interview and not through radio. So this is the first time that I've actually been on MattTv in this way, and I had a great time. So thanks very much for having me, and yeah, I'll come back whenever you need me. Yeah, thank you, Matt. Love you.
Be well, stay well. Have a Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy holidays, and to just another kick-ass 2019. Yes.
Thank you. I love the way you talk. That's awesome. Love your show, man. Keep doing what you're doing. It's working.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, dude.
Okay, man.
Okay, we'll talk.
You're
later.
welcome. Peace.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye. Thanks. Bye-bye.